DuckTales. Sky Pirates in the Sky.
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
love that they're bringing in the classic. They're bringing in other classic Disney crossovers with that, like the Tailspin crossover in this one, and they already mentioned Darkwing Duck in one of the other episodes.
I know, that was awesome.
Just
Ooh.
wait until the next season.
Ooh, a Tailspin remake. That would be awesome.
That would be.
I really did like
I'm
Tailspin.
really hoping they're going to do a Darkwing Duck remake.
Oh, that'd be awesome, too.
And maybe a Goof Troop. Well, Kyle wants a Goof Troop one. I'm kind of,
The thing about Goof Troop, it was very much a product of its time.
Yeah, it was.
It would take a lot of revamping to make that thing work.
It really, really would. It was way too 90s camp.
Yeah, that was radical.
Right? Totally tubular, dude.
I don't really remember Goof Troop that well. I mean, I remember Darkwing Duck and Tailspin, but Goof Troop?
Well, having the actual series of Darkwing Duck, access to it, I definitely remember Darkwing Duck better than the rest of them. And I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of Tailspin more recently. I have not seen Goof Troop or even bothered to see Goof Troop or a Goofy movie in forever.
Yeah, but it's still something that sort of sticks with you.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something you watched when it was coming out.
Although, in one of the new season episodes, the Goofy movie song was playing in the background. You know, the one that they played on the stage.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me too much, given that Disney likely just we're just gonna own the rights to that, and we're just gonna we'll use it whenever the hell we want.
Exactly.
We're freaking Disney. If we want to drop Iron Man and Goof Troop, we can do that.
Damn it!
If you want to drop Iron Man and Yoda inside a Mickey Mouse cartoon, we can freaking do that. We own that.
No.
But usually they have better judgment than that. The reboots notwithstanding, the reboot movies, they redo things that don't need to be redone. Beauty and the Beast.
Hey, to be fair, their live-action reboots were not bad. I actually really liked Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. They stuck very closely to the original while giving more depth to the story. They delved deeper into the stories in those two.
I haven't seen the new Aladdin yet, and I bet it is good. It's just that they could have done better on the genie.
Actually, the genie, I'm not going to spoil anything with it, but they did change up the story a little bit just to give more depth to the characters. Like they had LeFou gay because, I mean, let's face it, everybody knew he was gay in the original. They just made it proof positive in this one, in Beauty and the Beast. But they gave Genie more humanity, I guess you'd say. And he wasn't so much comic relief as he was a valid character.
Oh no, I meant how in trailer it looked like they just Photoshop Will Smith's face on some blue dude.
No, that is not how it looks. Most of the time he actually isn't even blue to blend in.
Oh, okay, that's good then.
So that he can actually interact with people properly. He goes undercover as Aladdin's Prince Ali's manservant.
Well, it's my day off today, so I might go see it.
I saw it with Jack because he really wanted to see it.
Anyway, getting back off of Disney's choices. Sky Pirates in the Sky. You
Fun little musical episode.
yes.
Dewey centric.
Very much so.
So, do we like it?
Do we like the episode or?
Yeah, that was.
Okay. It was okay. It felt like it just like kind of went by quick. It was sort of. It sort of happened. You know, there was.
Yeah, they don't really have two-parters in this series.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's not what I'm getting at there. It's like
so they kind of had
for
to
like
rush
for
it.
the 30 minutes that you know, it seems it's like it's very much one of those sort of you have a bowl of popcorn, you're watching a movie and it's just gone sort of thing. It's just, it disappears before it finishes before you realize that wait, okay, we're done now, I guess.
That happened to me when I went to see The Hobbit, the first installment, because I had read The Hobbit and I knew exactly, what was going to happen when, or at least in theory, and I didn't realize it was going to be a three-parter. So I had my stuff timed out so that I would open up my soda like right as right at the climax of the thing, and that's when the movie ended.
Like, damn it!
I'm like, wait, this isn't even half over.
Yeah, it's not that it's an incomplete thing. It goes really quickly. The pacing is you don't sit around with anything. The plot isn't particularly complex. It's just sort of it hit, gone, and you don't really have the.
But Dewey gets a curse you that is usually reserved for Scrooge. Curse you, Dewey Duck!
Language?
I said duck, and that wasn't autocorrect.
Damn it, the curse part.
Oh.
You just don't curse people, okay?
I curse whoever I want.
Yeah, me too.
I'm offended you're trying to tarnish our treasure hunt with a history lesson. I am Webby. I actually do that completely randomly, spew out facts for just because it's relevant to a situation. I may be filthy rich, but I'm not unsanitary. And another set of what is it with these ducks and alliteration? Darkwing Duck used to do it all the time, and now Scrooge does it all the time.
It's
It's fun.
It's fun, and that's. And he's put in situations where he gets to do it, and if you get the chance to do something like that, why not take it?
Launchpad, you do. Huey, you and Launchpad work on repairing the plane. Sad when you need a 10-year-old to watch over the pilot.
And he's probably a better repairer.
Yeah.
Given that he was messing around with that drone in that one episode, it's like, oh yeah, I just completely reprogrammed this, did this, and yep, we're good.
Because I'm smart.
SMRT. Well, it says in the Junior Woodchuck guidebook that.
Yeah. the Junior Woodchuck guidebook probably has a
According to
plane
the
repair.
JWG,
Yeah. On plane repair. This when faced with. Really? Okay.
I think if I ever cosplayed as Huey, I would definitely get a sketchbook or something and deck it out to look like the JWG.
Yeah, it's got to be like it should be like one of those small diaries because
Yeah,
yeah,
of course it'd be
yeah,
like diary-like.
yeah, because
But I would
it's
use a
got to be.
sketchbook. I would use a sketchbook though because the pages are thicker, and the book itself is usually thicker and as far as depth.
Yeah, that was what I was. Yeah, it was.
They have small sketchbooks. We sell them at work. I actually have a few.
Yeah.
Dozen. And then put a few post-it notes in there and totally deck it out to look like the JWG. And I mean, I already have the bottom part of the outfit because I could use the same one as I use for my Webby. So, boom.
Convenient
Yes.
duck anatomy.
Yep. Pretty
Yeah.
much the same for all of them.
Yes.
Dread Pirate Dewey.
Yeah. And Dewey getting in there and
I
now
love
the king of the pirates.
I love how he just totally enthralls them with the time this afternoon, the place Perapisco. Going through that entire spiel, and it's
Yeah.
like,
And he keeps trying to do it up until that point, but
I know,
nobody's
and
interested
it's like,
in hearing
finally
it.
somebody's
until
gonna
he gets
pay
to
attention to me.
He finally gets to the pirates and like they're just rapt with it, rapt attention. So, oh. It leads a mutiny against Don Carnage.
It's like, that's my song.
Not anymore.
It's like, let's let him go and, never see them again. It's like, we may be singing Dancing Pirates, but we're still pirates.
Yes.
Fair point.
Oh. And then for the whole, well, there are three of them. Just use a red light so that they can't tell what color they actually are. Even have a girl as the little boy. Nobody's gonna notice.
Or just have them swap around hats.
Yep. Although, to be fair, the triplets, all they really need to do is, take off their hat and nobody would know the difference.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even though they each have different kinds of outfits, still you take off the hat, nobody will know the difference.
Yeah, it is one of those things where they're so similar looking. You just swap clothes and they're the other one.
Although the hair is different on each of them.
Well, it wouldn't take much, given that it's just a matter of styling. They probably have very similar hair, natural feather shape.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of styling. So a little restyling, and you could make any one of them look like any of the other, given they're all the same age, all from the same parents.
I actually did see a picture of a I think it was from an Ask blog. I mean, not an Ask blog, a Tumblr blog, where it was a drawing of the triplets all dressed like Dewey, I think it is, and they all styled their hair the same way, and it's like, darn it, how am I supposed to tell you apart? And unanimously, I thought you were able to tell us apart anyway. No.
Yeah, which makes me wonder, in universe, are they identical? You know, are they identical and the only differences are their personality and the way they choose?
Well, technically they can't be identical because they get hatched from 3 separate eggs.
Well,
Sure.
I'm not sure. I have to
Or
look
less-
at how that works, but like,
Or
if it
less-
was the same egg, but it split off into 3 different, things, and
No,
then the eggs
no,
formed around.
twins within birds still hatch from the same egg. Because there are times when you can actually sometimes find like double and actually there are some cases where there's an egg within an egg.
Exception.
Yeah.
Recursion, but yeah, I'm not familiar with how that works in birds, but
So I think they just
they're just fraternal.
yeah. Plus they have different voices. Identical twins have identical vocal cords.
That's
So
freaky.
technically in the original they were identical triplets.
Yeah, so it depends on how far you take it and whether what not. But yeah, anyway, I don't think they really cared about biology when they were deciding whether they're identical and they grew themselves differently, or I don't know. But but yeah, it's anyway. The musical numbers are at least interesting. I don't really have a lot to say about it.
Okay, every year during nesting season, people ask if it's possible for wild birds to produce twins, 2 chicks from a single egg. Chicken eggs from the grocery store occasionally include some with double yolks. One researcher in 1849 claimed to have had a chicken that laid 10 double-yolked eggs, which he allowed her to brood. 9 hatched, producing 9 pairs of twins. However, this has never been replicated. In one study of more than 1,100 chicken eggs, double yolks were found only 3 times. That is in less than 1/3 of 1%. In another larger study, 2.8% of chicken eggs were double yolked. Very few double yolked eggs hatched. In this large study, 208 double-yolked eggs were incubated and candled periodically to determine if they contained viable embryos, and eggs were examined after the embryos had died. Over 64% of the embryos died within the first 7 days. 2 of the eggs, less than 1%, pipped, and only 1 hatched into twin chicks. There are apparently 2 peaks of mortality, one about a third of the way through development and another near hatching. Apparently the two chicks against each other have very difficult time bracing themselves properly to pip the egg. So identical twin, if they were identical, they'd have come from the same.
My wondering is, I'd have to look more into bird development, but like if they could potentially have, for egg fertilized, it splits and it makes a few, and then those get split off, and then you have, 3 from the same thing getting spread out into 3 different eggs.
Well, let's just go like cartoon logic and say they're triplets.
They're from the same
Yeah, but are they
sledge. At the very least, they're
fraternal
from-
triplets?
Yeah, are they identical or fraternal? Anyway, it's of very little value whether they are or not. But anyway, yeah. Oh, and then we have the whole the jewel that was it Louis had, and that
Yeah,
was,
Louis.
Louis had and it was all just was it Webby's doing, just messing with him or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, that was Webby being. Aha! Tell me not to put learning into adventure. Because she totally trolled him just to prove that it's good to know things when you're going on an adventure.
Anyway.
Go Ducks.
And that just reminds me of the Mighty Ducks, the
Yeah.
the animated
cartoon?
series. Oh god.
Oh gosh. You know they had reference to it with the duck hockey mask in the Gizmo Duck episode.
Yeah. Here come the Mighty Ducks. Yes.
I have not seen that since it was on telly, like back in the 90s.
Man, that was a 90s show. That was 90s.
It totally was. That was like 1,000% 90s show. That and Mighty Max.
The only thing more
Radical,
90s was
dude.
the only thing more 90s than that was Street Sharks.
Oh
my
man.
gosh.
Street Sharks. Oh god.
And
I
Extreme
enjoyed that as a
Dinosaurs.
kid, but I was also fairly young, I think, when that came out. So I was like, yeah, I was of simple taste at that moment.
And Creepy Crawlers.
Oh god, the 90s were such a strange time.
It's like every cartoon artist was on acid. And in a good way, not the way they are nowadays, where they just get drunk and draw cartoons.
Let's bring those back.
Yes! It's like nowadays, instead of taking acid to draw cartoons, they get drunk to draw cartoons. That's what it looks
There's not
like.
enough of a radical culture to really have the 90s really hit like they did in the 90s. Like, there's not enough of
Yeah, I'm not saying bring back they could reboot it. They did a great job with DuckTales.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
But
that
honestly,
had a lot
I
less
just think,
radical to it.
oh yeah, definitely. And I'm
Like,
not
you
saying
couldn't
all of
bring
them
back
would work.
SWAT Cats,
but-
the Radical Squadron.
Oh gosh.
not with the same punch as it had in the 90s. But that was amazing. I love that show.
You know what would have been a good one to reboot? Mighty Max.
Eh.
Because really it doesn't have a lot of temporally specific reference besides his, dude, cool type thing.
And backwards hat.
And backwards hat. But
Yes.
I mean, they do that nowadays anyway.
Yeah, but it's not as just everywhere as, like anybody who wanted to seem cool, then, I'm cool and rebellious. I wear my hat backwards. It's like, but everybody wears their hat backwards. And
Yeah.
now you don't have the use of the hat. The point of the hat is to shield your eyes from the sun.
Hey, now they're using it to shield their neck so they don't become a goddamn redneck.
Well, foo on them. Nothing wrong with being a redneck.
There is if you burst into flames when you get hit by the sun.
But
That's why you just wear a Stetson and be done with it. Because Stetsons are cool.
Oh yeah.
and then you got the opposite. You got Stetson, which has the sort of a bill all the way around, and then you have a Fez, which is the complete opposite. You have no bill
It really
anywhere.
is.
So, as we can see here, the 11th Doctor was very all or nothing with the bill of his cap. Either no bill whatsoever, or all the bill.
Yep, now in between. No, see, the Fez works if the sun is, like, directly above him.
But
What really was the purpose of the Fez?
I
That's
don't
just like,
know.
oh,
Yeah, besides looking cool.
That was the only purpose.
I didn't mean for I didn't mean for the doctor. I meant the origin of the fez.
A religious thing, I guess?
Hmm. Much of its popularity to the history of the fez may have originated in ancient Greece or the Balkans during the Byzantine reign, and subsequently during the Ottoman period, various Slavs, mostly Bosniaks and Serbs, started wearing their headwear. Fez is part of traditional clothing of Cyprus and is still worn by some Cypriots today. Traditionally, women wore a red fez over their heads instead of a headscarf, while men wore a black or red cap. The fez was sometimes worn by men with material similar to a wrapped keffiyeh or turban around the base. In his 1811 journey to Cyprus, John Pinkerton describes the fez, a red cap turned up with fur, as the proper Greek dress. In 1826, Sultan Mahmud II of the Ottoman Empire suppressed the Janissaries and began sweeping reforms of the military. Modernized military adopted Western-style uniforms and as headdresses, the fez with a cloth wrapped around it. In 1920, yeah, it looks like the Ottoman Empire wore it a lot. And it became a subtle symbol of modernity throughout the Near East, inspiring similar decrees in other nations. Basically, the Ottoman Empire made it really popular, and then it kind of spread as a sign of we're a modern nation, and so that's where you get the fez. See, that's like 2 seconds of reading Wikipedia, so I'm sure there's about 1 billion ounces of nuances that come out of that, but that's where the fez came from. How did we get on fezzes? Oh yes,
Fezzes are cool.
All or nothing
Stetsons,
doctors.
backtrack.
Yeah, the doctor.
And reverse caps of the 90s.
Yes, and reverse caps of the 90s. Yeah, which is a weird. That was a weird conversation to go down, but yeah. Man.
With us, it's always the rabbit hole.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Man, now I got SWAT cats, the Radical Squadron, stuck in my head. That's an awesome
You're
theme
welcome.
song. That was an awesome theme song. There wasn't many lyrics. It was just really cool music. It was extreme. And there were cats, and they flew a tomcat. It was an F-14 like thing, so it was really funny. It's like, yes, that's the maximum punnage you can put on this. Yes. That was some grade A 90s cheese. That was wonderful. But some of that came out of the 80s. It took 90s kind of took some of what the 80s had and jumped it up a bit and just like
they evolved.
We're gonna do something even weird because like my other favorite from early childhood was like it was actually I think it was actually released before I was born, but it was played like on Cartoon Network as a kid, and it was like Centurions Power Extreme, Man and Machine Power Extreme. It was from the 80s, but it had a little bit of it was in the 80s, but it went well into the 90s. It went in well. It went well into the 90s.
I remember a very obscure series called Vampires.
Me too.
Where there were these cars that were from another planet or dimension or something, and they were stealing the petrol from Earth. And so these kids had to it's kind of like a cross between Digimon and Power Rangers.
Oh god. Why?
Because one, I got to mention Power Rangers and piss you off, and two, because that's really what it was kind of like. Or maybe Voltron, Digimon and Voltron. There we go.
But yeah, the '90s had some
Trippy shit.
It's kind of sad.
really cheesy stuff.
It's kind of sad. Sometimes I think to myself, the 90s wasn't that long ago. Then I realized it was like 30 years ago almost.
I know.
Like, how did that much time go by?
Right? I'm like, dude. But I remember the 90s. They had cool shit. You know that's like a full adult person has never seen the 90s.
It's like, why?
You realize a full adult person who can vote and smoke has never seen the 90s.
But anyway, I think we've long since abandoned DuckTales as a thing. So,
Oh yeah,
is
definitely.
there anything else you wanted to cover with the DuckTales?
I got nothing.